Most everybody didn't sign their own Social Security number. It was gotten for them by their parents. So you have the right to cancel that contract. And it is a contract for benefits. They'll say it's not, but it is. It's an application for benefits. And any application is a contract. I don't want anything from the federal government because I don't want them in my hip pocket for the rest of my life. I don't want anything. And anything you paid into Social Security, you can get back if you want to get it back. Yes, you can get it back, but there's only one specific way you can do it. But you have to be prepared to go all the way. You don't start a battle and then turn tail and run at the last minute. You know what I mean? Just be prepared to move forward all the way down the line. You have to file in a court of claims. And if you prevail at the court of claims, then you will automatically get all the income tax money since day one refunded back to you. Plus interest. Because the government's wrote many letters stating if you don't have a Social Security number, you would have no taxable income. When you got your Social Security number, how many people were told you were giving up your sovereignty? How many people were told you're giving up all your rights? How many people were told that you were giving up your right of inheritance? How many people told you you're giving up the right to work to accept a privilege? You know what I mean? How many people were told that when you got your Social Security number, you were asking for government supervision? How many people were told when you got your Social Security number, you'd pay 52% of your salary for the rest of your life to the government? Yes, 3 to 5 years, depending on how well. One guy in Florida did it, it took him 9 months. Guy followed him up, took him 4 years. You know what I mean? Follow the same suit, you know what I mean? It depends on how you set your case up. You have to set them up. You do your letter writing campaign. You follow me, and you do this and you do that. You set them up so that you have all the evidence on your side. And once you have them set up, then you can move forward. I was going to talk about citizenship a lot tonight, so I brought my big book on citizenship. I was going to talk a lot about citizenship. How many people have heard of the U.S. Constitution? The dirt under my feet. It doesn't apply to me. I got several court cases say the U.S. Constitution doesn't apply except to the federal government. It doesn't apply to the state government. It only applies to the state government through the 14th Amendment. So anytime you use the U.S. Constitution, then you are accepting the benefits and privileges of the 14th Amendment. Unless you're in federal court. If you're in federal court, then you can use it all the way down the line. But in state court, you cannot, unequivocally, you cannot use the U.S. Constitution.
I was going to say, by extension, you wouldn't want to use federal case citations and such either.
No, you don't use federal cases in state court because that also brings in the 14th Amendment. It only applies to the 14th Amendment.
They'll drag you there.
Oh, yeah, yes, they will. They'll try to drag you over there. One of the key things you have to learn and remember is that the courts have all said that the state constitution is the sky's the limit on your rights. The federal constitution is the floor. So you want the bare basics or you want the unlimited side? So use the state constitution. They don't like it when you use the state constitution because they know where you're going. They can't overrule the state constitution. In fact, our California Supreme Court in several cases in the past few years have overturned the United States Supreme Court because the state, based upon the state constitution, they can reverse the United States Supreme Court. And the United States Supreme Court, what they say, we can't touch the case, it's on the state constitution. So you use the state constitution all the time, and you have the ceiling, you know what I mean, your rights are unlimited under the state constitution. Because the state constitution was written as a restriction and limitation on the state government. The U.S. Constitution was written as a restriction and limitation on the federal government. So when you understand the proper application of the constitutions, you can distinguish them out. Do you follow me? And just apply them appropriately on either side, whichever way is appropriate. How many people heard the word state? Yeah, a few people raised their hand. Some people have never heard the word state. State has two separate and legal meanings, depending on how it's used. And the case that they all qualify and state and refer to is Texas versus White, United States Supreme Court, 1862. In that court case, the United States Supreme Court stated, a small s state consists of land, people, and government. A capital S state occupies the land and has people in government. What occupies can be removed, but consists of, small s is consists of. Just like this writing on this paper here, it occupies this paper. I can take a pencil and erase it off. You follow me? But the paper itself is the small s state. Consists of, to create this paper, consists of people, government, and land. So when they say the small s state, that's a fiction created by the people. So it's always a small s state. I live in a small s state. I'm not subject to the capital S state. I'm subject to all the laws created by the small s state, because that's what we the people created. So knowing the distinction, someplace along the line somebody's going to ask you a question, you know what I mean? Are you subject to state laws? Define state. Are you subject to this? Define what you mean. What they've done a marvelous job, and I have to thank the government, they did a marvelous job. They have multiple meanings for all the words. They did. They have their own specific meaning, legal meaning, that they use against you. Like the best one I can think of off the top of my head, without going to my notes, is the word employee. Employee has 5 different meanings in the dictionary. Number 1, one who works for somebody. Number 5, one who works for the federal government. So when you sign a W-4, it's an admission you work for the federal government, as this definition down here, subject to all federal laws. It's just that simple. They don't tell you that, because you think it's this one up here. When you sign an employment application, it's this definition up here. When you sign that W-4, you now switch to that definition down here. And it was redefined in 1939 under, write this down, the 1939 Public Salary Tax Act. Redefined the term employee to mean federal government worker. Very simple. They always tell you the truth consistently.
What's the Texas White citation?
I don't know, it's 1862. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Maybe in the back of this book here. Let me see if I can find it for you here. 74 U.S. 227. Repeating, 74 U.S. 227. That's Texas versus White.